Good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to this webinar of Improving Innovation, Livelihoods, and Resilience through Poultry Farmer Field Schools, organized by the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization and the International Fund for Agriculture and Development, IFAD. My name is Paul Mutungi, a livestock FFS expert and a master trainer from the FAO sub-regional team in Eastern Africa, in Kenya, and I will be your moderator for this event today. Now, before getting started, I would like to remind you that today's webinar is being recorded. And I would like to ask you to please follow the event in mute mode and click the unmute button only when you are speaking. To request the floor during the question and answer session, use your raise hand function in the reactions menu, or you can also raise or type your questions in the chat. Today's agenda includes a brief opening with welcome remarks and introduction to the topics of the event, a series of presentations from field practitioners from across the regions who will share their experiences and lessons learned, followed by a question and answer session. And after that, we are going to have the closing remarks. I'm hoping that this is clear. Without further ado, let me invite Selvaraju Ramasamy, the Senior Agricultural Officer at the Food and Agriculture Organization Office of Innovation, to provide his opening remarks. Selvaraju, now the floor is yours. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul. Colleagues, distinguished speakers of this webinar, and also the participants. On behalf of Mr. Vincent Martin, Director, Office of Innovation, FAO, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this important webinar on poultry farmer field schools. Our focus today, as it was highlighted already, is to discuss the potential for driving innovation and improving the livelihood opportunities and resilience of family poultry producers. As we all aware and know, small-scale family-based poultry systems play a critical role in sustaining livelihoods of millions of people in low and middle income countries. They significantly contribute to achieve food security, employment, and livelihood opportunities to women and youth. The small-scale poultry producers face several problems and issues, and some of them include infectious diseases, inadequate availability of inputs and advisory services, poor housing, poor biosecurity, quality and cost of feed, price fluctuations. These are some of the issues faced by this important sector. Achieving sustainable family poultry production in the face of global challenges means we need farmer-centered innovations in all aspects of poultry production, processing, and marketing. We believe that farmer field school approach can be an efficient means to address these challenges faced by the small-scale family-based poultry producers and other actors in the entire value chain by facilitating participatory learning, critical analysis of the issues, and promoting innovative solutions. The farmer field school approach enables poultry producers to learn how to shift towards more sustainable production practices. FAO and the International Fund for Agriculture Development have widely used FFS approach to develop small-scale family-based poultry systems. Today, this webinar is an opportunity to share many successful experiences and provide innovative ideas to our members, non-governmental organizations, and other stakeholders to scale up FFS approach in poultry sector. The Office of Innovation in this connection in FAO is revisioning and promoting innovations in FFS by addressing issues such as scalability, institutionalization, and enhancing the quality of FSS and linking to our ongoing efforts in promoting innovation hubs at the national level. I hope that today's webinar will provide new insights and consolidation of innovations from experiences and contribute to scaling up of the Farmer Field School in support of small-scale and family-based poultry systems. I thank you for your kind attention and all the very best for successful discussions. Thank you. Over to you, Paul.
Many, many thanks, Selberaju, for your insightful words. Thank you very much. And now, to set the scene, I would like to introduce Giacomo Di Bessi, the Animal Production Officer at the FAO Animal Production and Health Division, who will tell us more about the Poultry FFS and a publication that was recently developed by FAO and IFAD to support poultry FFS facilitators and master trainers. Giacomo supports FAO activities on livestock-focused development publications and awareness-raising activities on the approach. At this moment now, I take this opportunity to invite Giacomo to take the floor. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Paul, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the participants of today's webinar. In my presentation, I will explain what poultry farmer field schools are and also introduce a manual focused on the approach. The FFS approach was developed by FAO and partners in Indonesia in the late 1980s to introduce integrated pest management in rice farming. As the approach quickly showed to be very effective, it was first applied to other crop production topics, and then it was adapted to other contexts and agricultural domains, including livestock production in the late 90s. Over the past 3 decades, hundreds of thousands of farmer field schools have been implemented across the world, benefiting millions of farmers, pastoralists, fisher folks, and foresters. FAO estimates that every year between 400,000 and 1 million people are trained through the approach. Today, the FFS approach is implemented in over 90 countries, and a growing number of FFS focused on poultry and other livestock are being implemented across developing regions. So what is a poultry farmer field school? A poultry FFS is a school without walls where groups of 20 to 25 poultry producers learn through observation and experimentation. In the process, group members acquire technical skills and strengthen group cohesion, while also defining opportunities for enterprise development. In Poultry FFS, activities are designed to enable participants to learn by doing and to drive innovation by building on local knowledge, while adapting and validating good practices that are developed elsewhere. Poultry FFS can be applied to any of the family poultry production systems, ranging from extensive to small-scale intensified. In this slide, you can see some of the core principles of the FFS approach. First of all, FFS is farmer-driven, and it is based on the specific interests and priorities of the community. Secondly, in FFS, the focus is on developing skills and knowledge rather than assimilating knowledge on new technologies. Thirdly, in the field schools, the poultry or fields are the main learning tools and not books, pictures, or other extension material. Fourth, in Poultry FFS, learning is achieved with the support of an FFS facilitator and not a teacher. Fifth, in field schools, empowerment comes from collective action. In fact, FFS increased cohesion among group members and strengthened their ability to work together, solve problems, and also take decisions together. Lastly, meetings are carried out regularly and frequently throughout an entire production cycle. As you can see from the figure on the left in the slide, the implementation of the FFS includes a preparatory phase and also an FFS learning phase. The duration of the learning phase varies depending on the poultry enterprise and the problems that are addressed in the FFS, and can range from 6 months with meat birds to up to 12 months with dual-purpose birds. Generally, a poultry FFS has at least 12 to 15 meetings, and often the groups meet once every week. These meetings often take place at the farm of one of the FFS members, and each meeting will include 4 core activities, which are generally carried out in the order that is that you can see on the table on the right of the slide. So first we have the agroecosystem analysis, or AESA, which is one of the core activities of Poultry FFS. In AESA, the group members record and analyze all the elements of the agroecosystem. Then we have group dynamics that are used as an icebreaker and to learn more about teamwork. Through special topics instead, the participants gain in-depth knowledge about technical or socio-economic subjects that are of interest to the group. And finally, we have a participatory monitoring and evaluation, which allows the members and the facilitators to continuously assess if they are achieving the learning objectives, and also it allows them to make any necessary and untimely adjustments. The AESA, which I described in my previous slide, is closely linked with the comparative experiments. In Poultry FFS, we have classical field comparative experiments that are the standard tool that is used in crop FFS and comprises comparing new practices with traditional ones through a test and a control group. But we have also other types of comparative experiments that are used to avoid any risk to the poultry production and health, to reduce costs and obtain tangible results within an FFS cycle. And these other types of experiments can include comparison of ongoing practices within the same production unit, comparison with non-farmers' practices or past experience, and also stop-and-go trials where a group of poultry receive a beneficial treatment that is interrupted several times, meaning that the birds themselves are their own control group. In addition to integrating Poultry FFS in several of its projects and programs, FAO, in collaboration with partners, works to build the capacities of FFS practitioners globally. For example, FAO, in collaboration with IFAD, has published a manual intended for field use by facilitators in the preparation and implementation of poultry farmer field schools. This manual aims to help them prepare and implement good quality FFS in any type of family poultry production system. It was drafted by Robin Alders, who is a global family poultry expert who should be with us today, and also by Gertrud Buju, who is an international livestock FFS master trainer. And it was developed through a wide-ranging and participatory process, which was coordinated by the FAO Animal Production and Health Division. The process involved numerous steps, as you can see in this slide, and also about 30 poultry and FFS experts from across regions. The document is structured around two main modules. The first module provides practical guidance to facilitators for each of the phases of FFS implementation, while the second module provides information and reference material on poultry production and health, facilitation methods, and non-formal education, with the aim to refresh and complement the knowledge of the facilitators. This document also has a very rich annex, which includes sample handouts for field adaptation and use, as well as sample tools and templates for record keeping, AESA, and monitoring and evaluation. It has examples of comparative experiments and much more. I therefore invite you to consult this practical manual, which is available for free download on the FAO website, to learn more about poultry FFS and find some useful tips to design and implement successful poultry farmer field schools. So I thank you all very much for your attention and for being with us today. And please feel free to contact me at the email address shown in the slide if you have any questions. Thank you. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you very much, Giacomo, for setting the scene. I hope now everybody is upbeat now. You've already set the scene. And ladies and gentlemen, now I have the pleasure to introduce none other than Aaron Reisman. And Aaron Reisman is a veterinarian with a PhD in veterinary epidemiology. And his current role is a senior animal health and production officer at the FAO Regional Office for Europe and Central Asia. Aaron is responsible for projects in the region related to the improvement of animal disease control, including emergencies, antimicrobial resistance, AMR, One Health. He is also responsible for FAO efforts in the region to improve animal production efficiency. Aaron will tell us about the importance of poultry for rural women in Kyrgyzstan and how FAO developed their capacities for improved livelihoods and nutrition. I take this opportunity now to invite Aaron to take the floor. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you for the nice introduction. Let me share the screen and I'll move immediately for the presentation. If I find it, sorry. I have a little problem. Okay. Why I can't find the presentation? Maybe a technical issue here.
Aaron, do you want us to share it for you?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be shared. Please share.
Yeah, that should be for the sake of time. I apologize for that. Okay. So,
actually, I just have the recording of your presentation.
Ah,
I don't know if I
yeah.
have the PowerPoint.
so just give me a second. I don't know why it's like this. Because I have the presentation here, but I don't know why it is not going up in the sharing screen. I know why. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Good. Sorry for that. Just make it more interesting. So everybody see that, true?
Yes, but we don't see the presentation mode. We see the...
Okay. That's also strange. I think I need to move to here. No.
We see it as a presenter mode right now.
Yeah.
Go to the top right, display settings, and you change the displays. To the top of the page. Display settings.
No, I don't see. That's not good. I apologize. Maybe we just do it like this. If you can see this, you can see the slides or not?
Yes. Go ahead.
Let me start.
Go ahead, please.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, well, I will present what we did as an FAO assistant to needed families on family poultry farming in Kyrgyzstan. This is also to acknowledge the role of Maripa from Kyrgyzstan, who is my right hand for livestock production in Kyrgyzstan, but she could not attend this seminar. Kyrgyzstan is a low landlocked country, population of about 7 million, a lot of mountains, and obviously a lot of livestock. It's very famous for its livestock, but beyond everything, the hospitality in this country is amazing. Just to bring everybody into the context, I will start with a data that might sound strange, but 30% of the Kyrgyz Republic GDP comes from remittance, which means that a lot of people are abroad, mainly in the Russian Federation, sending money, and that creates a situation where women are left alone in taking care of the household, mainly in rural areas and villages. In fact, in Kyrgyzstan, most of the population resides in rural areas, and young population is, while it's moving to the urban areas to look for jobs, profitable jobs, women are left in the rural areas to take care of the families. And it's happened that still in Kyrgyzstan, 65% of the total female population is live in rural areas, and the rural areas in general hold 85% of the poultry population. And traditionally, in general, in Central Asia, the women are taking care in the villages on poultry. That's also explain why it's important to address this among women, but still women lack the knowledge and the experience updated on knowledge on poultry health and production. So the main goal of this project was to facilitate a demonstration of family poultry farming in rural Kyrgyzstan as a way to reduce poverty and improve the nutrition. So what we try to do is introduce best practices to small-scale farming. It was not classical farm and feed school, as it was described before, but still we introduce practices of health, feeding, and husbandry. And we provide the technical assistance and training, as you can see here, hands-on training to women and also to the kids that were joining them. And also some basic marketing skills to register down what you spend, what you sold, very simple things. In addition, we did a field demonstration on vaccination, and the participant had the opportunity also to do that by themselves for Newcastle disease. The question is, despite that it's not really farmer feed school, typical farmer feed school, why it was so special? Because we really assisted most vulnerable women in the society. Many of them were single mother. Many of them were, as I explained, women that left alone and husbands are abroad, and some widows also. And the results can be seen quite fast. In matter of months, you can see that they have eggs, they can even sell eggs, and they have extra income. And you really see the bright in their eyes when I visited them there, how thankful they are. But beyond that, we were empowering vulnerable women. This is something, as I mentioned, you can see that the empowerment, because they manage the money, they manage the poultry. It was really it was really outstanding. In addition, obviously, it was important to provide good nutrition habits to school children, either in the home, or we also gave it to some schools. In terms of impact, while statistically I cannot assure that to show you the increase in income, it's really safe to assume that.
Aaron, you have 1 minute, so you've got to move faster.
Yeah. It's safe to assume that the survival of poultry beyond the project time helped to increase the protein impact, even nutrition, better nutrition, and better income, and even empowering more on women on poultry production and management of basic skills of marketing. Here are some pictures on the cooks and what we provided, the materials. In addition to the training, you see the group of women are receiving the poultry and also 100 kilo of feed to start. We even have the study tour to see hatching facilities. Some producers, families were interested in that. And here the evidence, the testimonies from the farmers is best like this. They were so happy, so thankful. There's even a couple that the husband is working abroad, and he came especially for vacation, and he built the coop the coops in the village. That's all. I'm sorry for the technical issue, but I hope I provided enthusiasm about this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Despite the initial issues, I think you've tried. Thank you very much for sharing these interesting stories. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to hear from the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, which invests in rural development and people and is one of the 3 UN agencies based in Rome. It is a pleasure to give the floor to Hani Abdel Darwish, Executive Director of IFAD's Sustainable Agriculture Investment and Livelihoods Project, SAIL, in Egypt. Dr. Darwish is professor in the Crops Department at the Agricultural Research Center of the Ministry of Agriculture and Land Reclamation, and has worked in a number of international development projects. May I take this opportunity now to invite the Honorable Professor Darwish to take the floor, and also minding that we only have 7 minutes for each presenter. You are welcome, Professor, but for you, we'll give you 8.
So the professor, Dr. Hani, didn't have a great connection, so we're gonna share his recording for the presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. So can we share it?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. This is Hani Darwish, SAIL Executive Director. It is my pleasure to participate in this event and give a brief presentation on SAIL experience in poultry farmer field schools. Yeah, let us first talk about the context and the challenges facing the SAIL project. SAIL project is working in newly reclaimed land and targeting small farmers, rural women, and youth. And participation of rural vulnerable women is a challenge, especially in Upper Egypt communities. Most of farmers in Egypt are smallholders affected by issues related to access to information, innovative technologies, knowledge, skills, advisory services, markets, and finance. Poor knowledge about modern production practices, limited access to extension services, and lack of capital. All of these are translated into low agricultural productivity and high rates of animal morbidity and mortality. And actually, Egyptian currency currently devaluation and the Ukrainian crisis have resulted in an increase in the prices of imported poultry feed and affected its market availability. SAIL project. SAIL is an IFAD-funded project with a total amount approximately 95 million USD, implemented in 30 villages in 4 governorates, Kafr al-Sheikh in Lower Egypt, and 2 governorates in Middle Egypt, Bani Suef and Minya, and 1 governorate in Upper Egypt, Aswan. And actually, this SAIL project targeting about 90,000 households. The project started in June 2015 and will end, inshallah, by December 2024. SAIL objective is to contribute to the reduction of poverty and increase food and nutrition security for the poor rural women and men in Egypt, especially in Upper Egypt. Thus, the small farmers in the project areas will be able to increase their income and improve their profitability and diversify their livelihoods. IFAD program and SAIL project is in line with Egypt's Sustainable Agricultural Development Strategy 2013. SAIL project has 3 components. The first component is community and livelihood development. Second component, agricultural production diversification. And third component, rural enterprise and microfinance development. Under the second component activities, SAIL PMU has contracted FAO Egypt to implement the farmer field schools, which was project titled Enhancing Crop and Livestock Production and the Productivity in New Lands. And actually, FAO already implemented about 172 farmer field school, including livestock farmer field school and poultry farmer field schools. As you know, the FAO approach is adopted in the farmer field school that are implemented, which is for farmers to exchange their experience with each other. So, under the SAIL through FAO involvement, the following farmer field school activities were implemented. At least 5 poultry farmer field school implemented, monitored, and evaluated. 68 facilitators were trained on the farmer field school approach. 26 master trainers got TOT training to train, follow up, and evaluate the implemented farmer field school. And 1 local extension farmer school implemented to poor women of Wadi Saida in Aswan Governorate. Yes. Under SAIL project, as a direct activities, which implemented by SAIL team with cooperation with the consultant from ARC, Agricultural Research Center, under umbrella of Ministry of Agriculture. Following the success of farmer field school activity implemented through SAIL FAO contract, SAIL PMU expanded the activity to be implemented by SAIL under direct component activities. Total 6 poultry farmer field school implemented by SAIL covered 48 sessions attended by 80 vulnerable rural women as follows. 4 ducks farmer field school with total 50 rural women attended. 1 chicken farmer field school with total 15 rural women attended, and 1 rabbit farmer field school with total 15 rural women. And actually, all required certified vaccination were provided by specialists vets for the poultry during the farmer field school duration to show the beneficiaries its importance and implications. Here we will talk about one of the most important activities that was adopted at a duck farmer field school in Mutubas area in Kafr al-Sheikh in Lower Egypt by using fresh azola as a goat feed supplement for raising ducks. The farmers compared using ready fodder versus fresh azola for feeding ducks starting from day one. And actually, azola proved to be most economic and benefit for the ducks as azola containing 24% protein and ready fodder containing 21% protein. Azola can be used for all period of breeding cycle and gives rapid weight increase. And also using azola added to bread plus maize plus apostasy saves about 50% of cost. In addition to easy and fast to plant in the backyard. The female farmers in Mutubas in Lower Egypt who started this azola practice got azola seeds from ARC. From ARC, she grown it in the house backyard and sold the product to the need-pouring farmers who started adopting this feeding product with successful production. Yes. Here we will talk about impact of farmer field school activity. The poultry farmer field school intervention provided the following tested solutions and impacts. Number 1, feed alternatives, crops residues, food wastes, azola, etc. were used to feed the poultry, leading to a decrease in production costs. Number 2, new productive and adapted poultry breeds like Baghali duck, this type in Egypt, were raised, which increased the meat production and improved the protein consumption and food security in the targeted areas. Promoting raising poultry by rural women increased the nutritional value of meals, especially for children. Number 3, in Wadi Saida area in Upper Egypt in Aswan Governorate, highly qualified facilitator specialized in veterinary and poultry production conducted productive farmer field school with 40 poor women in 45 days, producing more than 1,000 birds with at least 2.5 kilogram weight each, thus increasing women's income and enhancing their food security for at least 4 months. Finally, this is a testimony from a beneficiary from Wadi Saida, which states, "It is the first time for us to work together in a collaborative team from the beginning of the production cycle up to the end. The results were amazing for me I think we need more support to continue learning and progressing. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. We thank the Professor Darwish for that presentation, which is very, very insightful. And now I want us to move to Madagascar. And we are going to meet Julie Lichant, who is the site coordinator for the Sustainable Wildlife Management Program in Madagascar. And will tell us how the project used poultry FFS to support sustainable family poultry production in wildlife-dependent communities. Julie is a bioengineer with specialization in wildlife and protected areas management, and she pursued a PhD in the use of drones for game counts of African mammals in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Before joining the Wildlife Conservation Society and the Wildlife Management Program in 2023, she worked as a researcher and project manager in the field of wildlife management. Julie, I take this opportunity to welcome you. And now the floor is yours. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna share the screen. There we are. So good afternoon, everyone. As Paul introduced me, I'm Julie Lichant, and I'm the site coordinator for the Sustainable Wildlife Management Program in Madagascar and working for the Wildlife Conservation Society. I will present our experience in developing sustainable poultry production through farmer field schools in the wildlife-dependent communities in Madagascar. So in rural areas of Madagascar, we observe a typical example of a vicious circle where the rural population destroy the ecosystems on which they rely for their livelihood due to extreme poverty and lack of alternatives. So here we present the different challenges. First, the stocks of wild fish and game species are depleted by unsustainable fishing and hunting practices and other pressures, such as habitat destruction and population growth, with a dramatic impact on population of the most vulnerable species, such as the lemurs. The supply of domestic proteins to be used as alternatives is very limited due to, first, the remoteness associated with logistical challenges and limited market opportunities for external producers. Then low local production, which in turn is due to most farmers practicing small, extensive foraging with limited production and capacity to expand. Restricted access to input and technical services, increasing the mortality rate. And finally, it is difficult to have people committed to develop farming activities in the long run due to the competing seasonal cash crops in the region, for example, vanilla, or the production of other culturally preferred food, such as the rice. So it leads to limited access to domestic proteins, while wild proteins seems easier to access despite the limited access to natural resources in general. In this context, as a whole, the choice of livelihoods is primarily guided by the best cost-benefit ratio and some cultural considerations. Since 2017, we implement the Sustainable Wildlife Management Program. It's a global initiative funded by the European Union in 15 countries. And the overall objective of the SWIM program is to reconcile biodiversity conservation and food security and overall well-being of rural communities. The project in Madagascar works in the surrounding of a protected area, Makir Natural Park, with rural communities living in remote areas all around the park. Due to the situation described previously, food insecurity exists at the project site, mostly due to lack of proteins in the diet. Households eat wild meat in relatively low quantities, but this input is still very important for their diet. However, they show preference for domestic meat when it's available. The interest of shifting to domestic meat has led to look at a combination of strategies, as shown in this simplified theory of change on the slide, to both improve sustainable wildlife management and at the same time work at diversifying sources of proteins, such as the poultry farming. So to bolster poultry production, a comprehensive diagnosis study was conducted, evaluating past support initiatives and identifying beneficiaries based on their low well-being index and potential for livestock farming. So emphasis was placed on available time and resources within the households to select them, as well as reported consumption of wild meat. And subsequently, support unfolded in 2 phases. So initially, a first phase where attention centered on addressing the key challenges highlighted by the diagnosis, such as safeguarding chickens from the theft and predators, and combating infectious diseases, such as Newcastle diseases that can kill up to 50% of the livestock. Traditional support approaches were employed to tackle those issues, including training, input provision, veterinary capacity buildings, yielding to a lot of noteworthy output here presented in the slide. Transitioning to the second phase, the farmer field school approach was introduced to foster ownership and expand the outreach through participatory scaling up methods. So project teams underwent training by a master trainers, resulting in the establishment of 4 poultry field farmer schools with 10 facilitators trained overall. And we also developed farmer field schools for fisheries. However, an evaluation done in 2023 uncovered mixed results, primarily attributed to competition from other income-generating activities and perception regarding the added value of the farmer field school approach. So the evaluation highlighted the need for a reevaluation of priorities, particularly in problem identification, as the focus on poultry safety had overshadowed crucial issues like feed.
1 minute left.
Yeah, thanks. Consequently, adjustments were made, including the retraining of project teams and restructuring of protocols to clarify the roles and address local production challenges more effectively. As a whole, the combination of supports we have provided in terms of developing poultry farming has had overall positive impacts. So mortality and morbidity have substantially decreased. Capacity of production, including access to input, have increased. As a result, animal numbers have risen significantly per household, and consumption of poultry meat and eggs has increased. We see also less losses of unfertilized eggs. Some zootechnical good practices have derived from the farmer field school, such as hen-house equipped with protection against predator. And the observation made by the groups also confirmed the usefulness of building hen-house with a raised floor to mitigate humidity issues. Another positive impact is the social impact it has on collective work, a form of mutual aid that has been set up between small-scale farmers from the same area arised. In conclusion, I will end with the testimonial from my collaborator, Noela, who is supporting communities on poultry production activities daily and was sitting next to me for the question session. So our early days of implementing the farmer field school have been challenging, but while not all beneficiaries have yet seen the additional benefits of the approach, our team has begun to see other indirect benefits, and particularly in terms of social cohesion, which we see as an important pillar for resilience and adaptation to a changing environment. We firmly believe that the approach has the potential to lay solid foundation for the development of sustainable poultry farms but we also see the potential value of this approach being adapted to promote a holistic approach to community resilience by encompassing other aspects of community-based natural resources management that requires social cohesion. We are currently evaluating integrated farming approaches, such as associating poultry farming and fish farming to reduce the reliance on external feed supplies for the fish. And we are combining with identification of potential value chains. Currently, there are difficulties in marketing externally. Quantities are insufficient for this approach, but there is a potential for local value chains, and we are currently raising awareness to establish local markets for the sale of local production of fish and poultry, and to reduce farmers' dependence on what we call heritage poultry, associated with the pride of having a lot of chickens but not selling them.
Okay, Julie, I hope we are now summarizing. Are you through? Thank you very much, Julie, from Sustainable Wildlife Management. Thank you very much for your presentation. Up next now is Larry Paul, my namesake, the Program Director of Heifer International in Guatemala, South America. First of all, let me thank Larry for getting up in the middle of the night and joining us today. I hope you are not feeling sleepy. Larry holds a Master of Science in Rural Development. He has worked for 24 years in planning, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of rural agroforestry and agricultural development projects and programs in Guatemala and Central America. At Heifer International, Guatemala, he is responsible for the Green Business Belt program, leading a team of 40 professionals and technicians and a portfolio of 9 projects. Larry, I take this opportunity to welcome you and give the floor to you. You have it. You're welcome.
Hi, Paul. Actually, I think the alarm didn't go off for Larry, so we're gonna share the recording of his presentation as well.
Please do so.
Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Larry Paul Fuentes. I am the program director in Heifer International Guatemala. And today I'm going to present the experience we had on a project using farmer field schools and also improving the livelihoods of women in Guatemala using digital tools. So we have an experience working in the Western Highlands in Guatemala, Central America. And this experience was developed by Larry Paul Fuentes, myself, and Ronnie Palacios in Heifer International in 2022. So my next slide, it's about the context on Guatemala. Guatemala is a country in Central America. We have 18 million of inhabitants. Also, we have a high level of poverty of 60%. In the Western Highlands of Guatemala, we have a high rate of migration. More than 3 million people migrate to US to work. And also we are affected by several storms every year, like ETA and IOTA in the 2019. So we have a lot of loss of livelihoods during storms and hurricanes. And that affected a lot of population in the country to lose their livelihoods, especially poultry. So in the slide that I'm presenting, I'm going to share about the Para Adelante project that was funded by USAID and the Bureau of Humanitarian Assistance, and it was implemented by an alliance by Global Communities and Heifer during 2022. So in that year, 17,000 families were supported by monetary transferences to improve their livelihoods. And it has 3 components. The first one is agriculture with more than 7,000 families, businesses that is around 4,000, and poultry with 6,000 families. We support with Heifer with the poultry production and farmer field schools. We have implemented 450 farmer field schools in 200 communities in 5 municipalities of Huehuetenango in the area of near the border to Mexico. So I could say that also with this implementation of the farmer field schools, we have 5 modules. We have shelter, animal feed, animal health management, animal reproduction, and also the products and byproducts that are in the poultry. And at the same time, we have these sessions was bi-weekly sessions. We did these bi-weekly sessions with the promoter of the community, and we have these 7 sessions, because we have one initial session and each one of the sessions of these training models, and also the closing and final session. And at the same time, we use a digital tool called Heifer Seed to share knowledge with extensionists and farmers. So everyone that is attending a Heifer Farmer Field School can apply and download these modules of animal production, in which they have reminders of these 5 training modules that we already developed in the Farmer Field Schools. The impact of these farmer field schools is that in this area, we recover more than 90,000 animals lost during the floods and also the Hurricane Eta Iota. And also through farmer field schools, we increase of income of 37%. Also, we have 40-50 leaders of farmer field schools that attend more than 7,000 families. Also, these investments that have the transferences from the USAID, BHA funds, also they have a co-funding with the investments of remittances of the 30% in the poultry project. So we have a match funds that come from the remittances from the migrants that are in the US that match these funds with the Project Para Adelante. Also, we have a testimonial from 2 members of the groups that are already in other area nearby Huehuetenango, that is Solola. We have other farmer field schools there, and also with poultry. And we have a testimonial of Juanita Butch, that is owner of Shepek Farm and leader of farmer field school in Santa Maria Visitación. She has a farm that gives the income, and she say, my farm give me the income to pay for the school of my 3 kids. So she's an entrepreneur, and she also has the skills to sell the eggs in the market, and she pays for the school of their 3 kids. And also Las Carmencitas, that are 2 neighbors, women that are working together and go to the market every Tuesday and Sunday to sell their chicken and the meat. And they say we have 10 years of being associates and sell in the market. So that are the 2 testimonials that I want to share with you. And these farmer field schools increasing on not only the skills, but at the same time recovery the livelihoods of the population in Guatemala. Increase the skills also using innovation and technology, digital technology and digital tools, and also increase the income of the women in Huehuetenango and also in Solola. So thank you so much for this, for your attention. I have my contact here, my mail, my WhatsApp, and also the webpage of Heifer International if you want to have more information regarding this experience of farmer field schools with poultry in Guatemala, Central America. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Larry Paul. What an interesting story that you brought forth on the application of digital technologies for poultry development. I'm very sure that there are people here who are attending this webinar that are interested in digital technologies, and you can get in touch. Now, last but not the least, to conclude from the stories of the field, we are now going to Kenya. And in this aspect, I would like to introduce Festo Mwamue, who is a livestock production officer and FFS facilitator in Voi, Taita Taveta County of Kenya. Festo has 10 years experience in livestock production and extension in the Manyido areas of Kenya and has initiated FFS activities in the locality, especially those ones that are to do with poultry. I take this opportunity to welcome Festo and ask the presentation to be done from that other side for him to continue. Welcome, Festo, as you wait for the presentation.
Thank you, Paul, and good afternoon all.
Please bring in the presentation.
Yes, it's coming. Just a second. Okay. Is
Now,
it okay?
Can you put it in the, yes, exactly.
okay. Now the FFS you are dealing with, the objective was to assess the performance of improved indigenous poultry through application of different feed formulation. And the parameters we assessed were weight gain, maturing period, and weight at maturity. Next slide, please. Now let's put Voi sub-county for context and the challenges the sub-county has. Voi sub-county in Taita Taveta is a semi-arid area with unreliable rainfall. Due to the changing climate and unreliable rainfall, poultry production was found to be a viable climate-smart option for undertaking by the FFS group. And this came up during the FFS meetings we had before the start of the project. However, poultry feeding is a challenge during the dry periods, and commercial poultry feeds are expensive. The main challenge addressed through the FFS was to find a locally available protein feed option to reduce the feed cost, whilst enhancing production in terms of weight gain and maturity time. And here we had 4 trials, the treatments. And the first treatment was maize bran and mineral supplements. Here the trial had 25 birds each. And the first treatment it is the farmer's practice. Most of the farmers around my place feed maize bran and mineral supplements, and we are comparing them to the other 3 treatments. Treatment 2 was maize bran plus fish meal and mineral supplements. Treatment 3 was maize bran and moringa leaves plus mineral supplements. And treatment 4 was maize bran, fish meal plus moringa leaves plus the mineral supplements. Next slide, please. Okay, the project we supported this initiative was the Agricultural Climate Resilience Initiative, the ACRE, which is supported by the World Meteorological Organization, FAO, and IGAD. The project duration was 5 years, and its objective was to enhance the resilience of communities whilst enabling them to cope and adapt to climate variability through climate-smart agricultural and livestock practices. The components were climate-smart agriculture, role, and livestock adaptations, options, and the use of climate information to inform decision-making on climate-smart crop and livestock production. The project was innovative in that it enabled farmers to use the climate information and translate it into viable agricultural and livestock adaptation practices for increased production and resilience building. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about the FFS facility activities in the county. 22 facilitators trained for the Taita Taveta County. These 22 facilitators were to establish the farmer field school. Therefore, 22 FFS implemented and are taking different climate-smart adaptation, trials, options in crops and livestock. The farmer field schools participated in trade fairs conducted in the county to showcase climate-smart farming activities. And here we invited even other stakeholders in the agricultural value chains to come in these trade fairs. Over 840 households reached through the farmer field schools, and 180 household being indirect beneficiaries. Under the project, one manual, that is Climate Change Adaptation Guide for farmer field schools, has been completed and is awaiting publishing. A second manual, that is Climate Information and Knowledge Guide, is in the final formulation stages. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about the impact of FFS activities. In terms of the trials of protein supplement, that is the trial we have discussed earlier, farmers found out that the birds in the fourth trial, that the birds which were fed with all the ingredients, grew faster, gained more weight, and appeared brighter. The use of local sources for feed, such as moringa leaves, contributed to good growth and weight gain. Birds fetched good prices in the market, thus contributing to household income security. The FFS members and non-FFS neighbors are now keeping more poultry than before because they are formulating their own feed at their household. Farmer Field School group members have the Village Savings and Lending Association, hence members' savings and borrowing in times of need. And this strategy enhances the group's sustainability. The Farmer Field School group has gone into feed formulation income generating activity through the feed mill provided by a project within the county government. And you can see a picture below there. There's the unit which houses the feed mill. And for the Farmer Field School members and others, keeping poultry are consulting more with the government extensionists in issues of poultry health and disease control to enhance production. Another slide, please. And now there is the testimonial by one of the FFS members by the name Luz Kiteto. Luz Kiteto says, Farmer Field School is the best learning method for farmers because they are involved in the learning right from the start to the finish. This gives the farmers the opportunity to observe changes in their enterprises over time and be involved in the analysis of the results, enabling the farmer see the reality. And those are the words of one of the FFS members who underwent the FFS extension methodology. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Festo, for that presentation, which was very, very timely, and we really appreciate. And now I take this opportunity. I think we still have a bit of time, though it is not very adequate because we have, by 3 o'clock, we should be closing. We have got about 15 minutes to go. And I take this opportunity now to bring in, it's the time for questions from the audience. Questions from the audience.
Yes, we have Noah Harris here that would like to take the floor. Please go ahead.
Can you come back again?
We have 3 participants with their hands up. I think Noah Harris wanted to take the floor. If so, please open your mic and your camera and go ahead.
Okay, Noah, please, can you take the floor?
Yes. Hello, I'm Noah Harris Magalipa from Lusaka, Zambia. I want to know if FFS has been already implemented in Zambia, and how we could approach the FAO office so that we can do more with the project, because I work with people in the outskirts. We train them in poultry. So I'm really impressed with the presentation, and I would love to take part in the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will get back to you. Can we go to now a lady? I can see Ruby Rose Marbao. Please, can you come with your question?
Thank you so much, Paul, and I appreciate this is very insightful. I am wondering whether the FAO and the partners have explored the possibilities of deploying probiotics, that is a microbiome technology, and utilization of beneficial friendly microorganisms that will promote gut health and enhance feed efficiency, and also reduce the issues of mortality, and you know, address even also climate crises or climate issues by deploying these beneficial microbes. And if there is a program like that, we would be very interested to be part of it, especially here in Nigeria, in Abuja. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question from Abuja. Let me now go to somebody called Frank Machado. Are you there, Frank? And can we see your picture? If Frank is not there, let me go to Jean Pierre.
No, I'm here.
Okay, please,
Yeah.
can you now come? Yeah, good.
All right. Yeah, fine. So, this is Frank Machado from Malawi, in the particular Care International Titukulani program. Yeah, my question is only the interventions that are being integrated in this project. The is it FFS approach? So I'm just interested to know the sustainability strategy, because to my understanding, I know there is a certain period in time whereby the FFS school is implemented from the beginning to the end of the value chain. But still we have got others outside that need to be maybe clarified for the sustainability sake. Again, on the use of hammer mills, they are also integrated into the poultry farming. Is it just for the farmers themselves? Because I have seen the figures of the participants in the project. They're just a few. They have not reached up to 1,000. How do you make sure that there is a profitability of the enterprise from the combination of the poultry and the use of the hammer mills? And in case of the maybe in other areas where there are rural areas, how do you ensure that the hammer mills are so beneficial to the communities within the farming communities? So those are just the few questions that I have. Thank you, and over.
Okay, thank you very much. Now to Jean Pierre.
Thank you very much, moderator. I'm Jean-Pierre. I'm based in the DRC. Mine is first to commend the presenters for the good result they've been sharing with us. Now, my question is maybe oriented to FAO and other organizations like IFAD to know if there is a strategy to really build on the positive experiences we have seen today on the poultry industry to make sure that it is be given a strong support to expand throughout Africa, because this is a weak area, because we have been seeing a lot of FFS initiative in crops, but the initiatives in poultry or other livestock are still very weak. So what is the strategy to put in place to make sure that it expands as well? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think in the interest of time, we shall not take any more, but really, really sorry because of time. But what we shall do is, I can see some people nodding their head. Let me just take that one from you. What is it? Aroma Patrick, please, just one last one, please.
Yes,
Aroma Patrick.
Thank you very much. I am Aroma Patrick from Uganda. I would like to find out the funding opportunities in the poultry sector, if at all they are existent, because right now we are transforming our farmer face school into the farmer business school in line with the poultry sector. We implemented the FAO poultry project in 2009 as a farmer face school, but now our farmers are going commercial and they need support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We stop all the questions there. And as you can see, these questions, some of them are general, and some of them can be answered by my colleagues who are with me. The issue of FFS in Zambia, and what we can say is that FFS is almost everywhere, and is in many countries, and I think in Zambia it is there. So for any information here, you can get in touch with our colleagues, the ones who are organizing this, Giacomo, Zoe, and also get into, Giacomo, is it the forum, the global forum for FFS?
Yes.
And you will have much more information.
And maybe on this, I can also quickly say, I mean, to
Yes.
respond to the question, that yes, FAO did implement some FFS on poultry in Zambia, and Specifically, this was, they were focused on antimicrobial resistance and reducing antimicrobial resistance in poultry farming through a project that implemented the approach to reduce AMI, I mean, in a number of countries, I mean, throughout Africa, and now it also expanded to Asia and other regions. So there, we did have experience on that, and we also developed a training for facilitators and master trainers, a virtual one, a refresher training that was delivered for Zambia and Zimbabwe last year, and we can also share information on that if there is interest. Back to you, Paul.
Giacomo, could you just give also information on strategies to build by Jean-Pierre on the strategy to build on positive experiences in order to expand the FFS in Africa? What do you have to say on that?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Jean-Pierre was asking whether FAO has a strategy to build on positive experiences, especially with regards to poultry FFS, in order to expand this in Africa.
Well, I think we're interested, I mean, to collect as many experiences as possible related to poultry FFS. I mean, to improve the projects and build on experiences that have been carried out, I mean, throughout Africa. So, I mean, please, I mean, feel free to share all your experiences on this, and we also have the global Farmer Field School platform that is an excellent tool, I mean, to share experiences, lessons learned, and to build on experiences from across regions.
Giacomo, maybe I would suggest that if you would put on the chat how people can get into the global forum, and also how people can get in touch with you people in the headquarters to answer some of this or for more information on some of these issues. If you would do that on the chat, I think it would be very, very okay. Now, let me just talk about the issue of probiotics asked by the lady from Nigeria, and to promote gut health. I think this is one of the things that we can do in the trials. It is not closed yet. And as we are developing the poultry FFS, I think this is a line I had not thought about, and I think with my colleagues in the headquarters who are doing livestock FFS, we can think of probiotics and how they affect the gut health and production of poultry. It can be put into the trial options, the basket of options for trials, and we really take this, get again in touch with the people from the headquarters so that we see how we could develop this further with partners in Nigeria and expand it more. On the issue of the opportunities from the Uganda on funding opportunities for poultry, especially with regards with farmer business schools, what do you have to say, Giacomo, on that? Because FBS is much more centers in the headquarters.
Yeah, Paul, I don't want to respond to other questions. I'd like to invite also other colleagues, maybe even Anne from IFAD, if she wants to.
Yes, please, if she can, yeah.
If she wants to answer this question, or Anne-Sophie, Susan.
Yeah, I think since I'm gonna say a few words about this in the end. Maybe Anne-Sophie wants to come in on this in for the sake of time. Better, I think.
Anne-Sophie?
Colleagues, Anne-Sophie was not well. I don't know if she can speak, but maybe Susan or Zoe can jump in.
Okay, can you repeat the question, please?
Well, if you want, I can say a few words, just tapping in for Anne-Sophie since she's unwell. This is Suzanne here, working on the Global FFS platform, and I hope you can hear me. Unfortunately, yes, my camera doesn't work, so I hope my voice is clear for you. Yeah, it was very, very nice to hear all of the interest from different countries. So the way it works that in some countries already some programs are ongoing. So if there are programs ongoing and you are an NGO, you can get in touch with the programs and then try to kind of connect your activities with those. In other cases, there are FFS in general ongoing, and these ones that are not related to poultry, and you can see how to collaborate. But as you asked about our strategy related to poultry in general, I heard Jean-Pierre's question. I think at the moment, we don't have a global program on poultry and FFS ongoing. It could be some things in the interest that we might try to develop. And if you have ideas, Jean-Pierre, since I know that you are very good with resource mobilization, we'd of course be interested in considering, because it's an area for expansion at the moment. So for now, we are mostly, as Giacomo said, supporting ongoing projects and happy to support these and the expansion from smaller experimentation to kind of a wider uptake, since we see a lot of potential on applying FFS to poultry, as you saw from the different cases. So I hope this is kind of answering some of the questions. As Paul said, please get in touch so we can give specific answers through the email.
Thank you very much, Susan Phillips, for that explanation. I think for the person from Malawi on sustainability, what I'll say, there is quite a lot of information on sustainability of FFS and materials. Please ask for these materials from the information or from the contacts that you'll be provided for in the chat, or consult the local FAO office in Malawi. In fact, Malawi has quite some very, very good farmer field schools, so that we may be able to know much more on the sustainability element. And now, without wasting time, and in order to conclude this, I would like to invite Anne Motlet, the lead technical specialist for livestock at IFAD, to give her closing remarks. Now, I take this opportunity to give you the floor. Anne, the floor is yours, and you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Paul, and very well done for a very smooth facilitation today. First, I'm going to be very quick in closing this very good webinar. First, I'm very grateful to FAO for the organization. Thank you, Giacomo. Thank you, Zoe, and all the colleagues. And I'm also thankful for Dr. Dalwi's presentation of the SAIL project and the whole team from Egypt for showcasing an example of IFAD's work on poultry FFS. But I'm also very impressed with the other speakers. I think we got an excellent overview of the positive results that poultry FFS can yield everywhere around the world in a very wide diversity of contexts. And looking at all the participants, what a really good community we have here today. Very impressive to see you all connected. Nearly 200 people at the peak of this webinar. So congratulations to everyone. Just a few words for IFAD on poultry FFS in particular. This is an approach that we're using in many of our livestock projects for poultry, but also other species. So it was not was not easy to choose one example today. We have, for example, also a very good case in Rwanda with the PRISM project, also using poultry FFS. And I would say that since the inception, as we saw from Giacomo, FFS have been so widely adopted and locally adapted that there is no longer one single model. We saw that today. It is adapted to many different situations for different purposes. We saw the use of digital technology also on that from Ecuador, very interesting. And my understanding is that the adaptation of the FFS approach as it started for the livestock sector did start with the poultry sector, but also with dairy. And then other livestock systems followed. One interesting exercise that we did in IFAD very recently is the stock take on livestock FFS, focusing particularly on our work with the approach in East Africa, in Madagascar, Malawi, Rwanda, and Tanzania. And we did this assessment in 2022, so that's very recent. I invite everyone who's interested to look at this stock take. It's available online, and it was meant to assess the performance of FFS based on 4 criteria: the outreach and the ability to target and benefit underserved groups and small producers, which who are the target group for IFAD, the ability of the approach to do, in the end, extend the productivity, to enhance productivity, but also social benefits, and institutionalization of the approach. And overall, the stocktake results suggested that there are very wide-ranging effects that are beneficial to producers in participating in livestock FFS, and that actually, and one of the questions was about that, the approach needs more promotion and acknowledgement, not only in sub-Saharan Africa, but everywhere in the world. We formulated a few recommendations based on that, and that's what I'm gonna close with. Important recommendations for a wider use of this very successful approach. First is it needs a stronger monitoring and evaluation, I would say, framework. We do have it, but it needs to be strengthened, but also bring in the impact assessment, which is a bit different from M&E, measuring impact more systematically from FFS. It needs more comprehensive work at institutional level, including supporting policies. And there was a very interesting question on that. This is also something that IFAD is working on at the moment, and together with FAO. It is also very important from those recommendations not to focus only on primary production with producers, but also build their capacity on upstream, everything that has to do with inputs, as we saw, and downstream. So the whole value chain approach is very key and should be strengthened in livestock FFS. And then one important key enabler, I would say, is to build their capacity also on access to rural finance, to be able to finance those improvements that they're learning about in the farmer field school. So I think those recommendations, you see, they have to do with technical, but also institutional policy, monitoring. It's a variety of I would say, key levers that we can use to strengthen the approaches. And one particular one I would like to say as the final word that is close to my heart, and I would like to see more, is more technical. This one is to try and strengthen the whole system approach in livestock and FFS, in particular multi-species systems that offer so many positive synergies. I'm just thinking out loud here, for example, poultry aquaculture systems, when they can benefit from each other. And the idea here is that, well, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So we get even more than having only aquaculture and poultry in that case, but multiple benefits. So thank you again, everyone, the organizers, the speakers, and all you participants online for a very successful event. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much for those insightful closing remarks, Anne. And this time I want to thank all of you who joined this webinar, those ones who have braved the morning chill, wherever they are, the afternoon heat, and those ones who have decided to cut their sleep in order to get this information somewhere in the middle of the night to listen to this. I want to thank all of you and everybody who has participated in this, including my panel and everybody else in the world. So thank you very much. And also those people behind the scenes whom we do not know and they've made this successful, I want to thank them. So finally, I would like to thank the FAO, Animal Production and Health Division, the FAO Office of Innovation, and its Global FFS Platform, and IFAD's Sustainable Production, Markets and Institutions Division for organizing today's event. I say thank you again and wish you a good day, a good afternoon, and a good night. Bye-bye, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sir Paul
Thank you.
Mutungi.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you.